Welcome in, welcome in. Let the feeling begin. Welcome in, welcome in. That used to be an old song. I forgot how that went. Well, but we definitely want to welcome everybody in to the space. I thank you guys for coming, being part of, watching, experiencing, and I hope that your light shineth within. Your christened Christ within is maximizing itself in doing the inner work, and you connecting to everything you are and everything you're not. And that might sound funny, but I know what I mean. I'll be touching on that in the future. I watched an interesting Eastern Chinese video today about self, but we won't talk about that today. We're going to talk about something that's going on in the world again. So here recently, D-Boy West Coast Uncensored, Instagram. West Coast Uncensored, D-Boy West Coast Uncensored, Instagram. Danny, April, not Danny, April, was it April dot Danny 1962 at gmail.com if you have any questions, want to send anything. And of course, if you want to help us here, because I'm a retired cat now, definitely could like to upgrade some of my stuff here and get to another level of being able to do the things that I need to do to even make better videos. I would like to be able to share and go live. I've never gone live because you just can't go on YouTube and go live. I don't know if you didn't know that, but you just can't do that. You need all this stuff you need to buy. What I use now is I'm just using the old Zoom, but I'd rather maybe get into some other things that you can do use that are actually much better. And but anyways, this is about that. So we're going to talk about, like I said, something in the world. We talked about the drones. We already talked about the drones and the media and the aliens, because the alien talk is everywhere, right? Trying to push these agendas, and the alien talk's there. So are they trying to push an agenda, or is it real? Definitely we know the drones are from, Trump told you they're from the government, but the talk is out there. You had all this talk, and you've been seeing it's been kind of layering in. So we're going to get into something that's similar today. I don't know if any of you have known about it. I know a lot of conscious people that don't pay attention to like the news and stuff. And of course, it's not information when it props and it gains something, right? Prop and gain. And my name is, and then I go propaganda. But anyways, slick. That's kind of slick. But here's the deal. So starting as of 2 nights ago through early January, there's 5 different portals in Rome the Pope is supposed to be opening. I don't know if you've heard this. I think the first one was 21st when the solstice started. I'm taping at evening of the 23rd, the eve before the eve. And so we're just kind of looking there. What's that mean? What's that say? What's that doing, right? What's going on here? And then there's supposed to be a total of 4. And I think one of the ones that was opening up was one that said was connected to, I've heard, so don't quote me. I don't know if it's that. I heard from some others that I usually trust, that one of the portals was an old prison wall on the other side. And has me being who I am and knowing certain things that I know and knowing Rome, that's a synagogue of our old buddy, Shaitan, or Shatan, right? Shatan. Definitely, or Babylon, the mother harlot. Those who woke up know that. So One of the things I go right to, it hit me, was, is this kind of like opening up the keys to the bottomless pit type stuff in the book of Revelations? Don't quote me. I'm not saying for sure it is. It's just a thought I had. Haven't deep dived in it. I've been kind of really doing heavily working on myself and my mindset, trying to do a lot of clearing and don't want to do bypassing. So, but I kind of looked into this and so we're going to get into it. I got some stuff to share about the Pope's opening up portals. Now, us in the spiritual mindset, the portals mean a whole lot of things to us. Maybe you have experienced portals in your life, and what going through them has done and has accomplished in the within and higher realms. That's where I have seen them and experienced them. And if you haven't, it's cool. Some of these experiences come through the activation of self, right? But he's opening up some, and this is done like every 25 years. So if you look at it was done in 25 years. So I think 99, then it'd be 1974, and then it'd be 1949. It used to be like every 100 years, but the last 100 years or so, went down to every 25 years. Which there's some significance. They don't do things by chance. So let's see what we're talking about with with the story, right? So we're gonna share and we're gonna go into this. Definitely. Let's start over here. You can't see, but I'm moving my zoom part over here. So it says immediately firstly, the spiritual portals are actually just doors. The tradition of the Pope opening the 5 holy doors is accordance with the Roman Catholic tradition known as Jubilee, which takes place every 25 years. One door will be open on the 24th, with subsequent doors being open the 26th and the 29th, Jan 1st, and Jan 5th. So I knew it was into Jan. So you're looking at 5. That's definitely a heavy number to have the 5, right? The 24th, 26th, 29th, and the 1st and the 5th. So these portals, who they're calling the holy portals, are opening up. And this is something that's been a tradition. There's some videos down here, but I didn't really get into whether I want to play these videos or not. They're popping up. I didn't do that. Let's read some of this. It's a special ritual, but contrary to Pope, it's not ever before been performed ceremony. Nor will it happen at the 5 doors of Christmas Eve, and it doesn't open portals to another world. Hey, they can tell me whatever they want to tell me. It doesn't mean I buy it, or if it's true or not, right? That this is what's happening. But I know a little bit about that place. Yeah. Would not surprise me if there's some whole lot of something going on here. You know what I mean? For those who knowers. I don't go to certain aspects to get my information, especially the certain things that might be a little jacked high. Reverse engineer that, you'll know what I mean. Let's see here. What are the holy portals? The sacred portals are actually doors referred to religion as holy doors. Very vague. Very, 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 very vague, right? Let's see what Christmas Eve's bringing here. The opening door of St. Peter's Basilica on Christmas Eve. Okay. The Jubilee Holy, so they're doing it on Christmas Eve. Okay. It wasn't it was the 25th, 29th, 1st, and 5th. Okay, I thought it was going to be the 21st. They didn't. The Jubilee Holy Year set aside prayer, forgiveness, and pilgrims, right? Now, I've heard, I can't confirm, that there's also in the portals, what are the gates in Revelation? We won't get into that. I heard opening the portals, one side, let's see if it pops up, was a jail. Let's see if this pops up. Okay, the Jubilee, which is connected to the the year of Jubilee, Old Testament. And then we seen the one is on the day after is connected to the pilgrims flocking to Basilica. Let's see what this says. What they are. The 24th, Peter's Basilica. John Latron's that. St. Paul's outside the walls. Okay. On the 5th. It's been a tradition since the 1300 AD. So, okay, here it is. On the 26th, Rebus, the Vatican's plan to open a 5th holy door at Romans Rebibia prison will be the first time a pope does it so at a penal institution. A penal, which penal, or a jail, penal codes, penal gland, institution. The doors remain through the Jubilee year. I would see it freedom, but of course I don't trust these. Or are they opening the keys of the bottomless pit? Just a thought I had. With the ritualistic stuff that goes on with all the Book of Revelations. Of course, you wouldn't know unless you know. So, just checking something. Okay, it's still going down, so it's not working good. Let's go to Wikipedia. Wikipedia is really asking for donations a lot. And if you guys don't know, this guy's the first Jesuit pope, living in the first one to ever live in, room 201. And if you know anything, I did a little gematria here, not a lot. We're not per se just a gematria channel like some people are. I learned gematria, excuse me, a few years ago. I really deep dived into more. Actually, I really deep dived into it was 2019, 2020 when we were in lockdown. When I did a video, said when you got go home orders, there's a very old video you can find when you got your go home orders from your job that you couldn't go to the job, that you had to work from home. I had a video said, when you got your go home orders, did you really go home? And what I brought out in the video was, did you go within yourself when you were sent home? Did you go into this house and find out what's really going on here? What's happening here? But anyways, let's see what's going on with this. But he's a Jesuit 201, and if you know anything about that, Jesuit 201 in gematria is a huge Jesuit number. 201, yeah. That's why you'll like to show The Office. You guys ever heard of The Office? Of course you have, most likely. The show The Office had 201 episodes. And Scranton, Pennsylvania is where the show was supposed to be from, right? Well, guess what? Scranton, Pennsylvania is a huge Jesuit city. 201, and that's where I think JoJo's from. Joe Biden, Sloppy Joe. I think he's from Scranton. Yeah. The Pope is the Bishop of Rome, the visible head, also known as the Supreme Pontiff, the Roman Pontiff, the Sovereign Pontiff, and on and on. I'm trying to see what these, some of the keys to the kingdom of heaven and their indoctrinations here in scriptures. Peter given the keys of heaven, so I could see the binding and loosing built upon a rock. The binding and loosing could be opening up these portals, whatever you bind and whatever you loose. The papacy, of course, I wanted it more specifically about the portals. Let's do this. I want to know about the portals. Portals. Maybe that will give us, okay, here it goes. Okay, they're not giving me anything about this about the Pope. So let's go back here and look at some stuff here because we were here, right? And let's do some images. That's talking about the portals that he's going to open right here, the holy doors. As we know, one on the 26th is from a prison, Penal Code 201, from the guy that lives in Penal Code, the Penal Room 201, which is Jesuit order in Gematria. It's one of the Jesuit numbers. And you can see the door, the holy doors. So some of this is here. And this is definitely a ritual when he's and then in the dress that he's wearing. I'm trying to see what he's wearing. Is it the mitre? I don't know if he's wearing the mitre here. It kind of looks like it is. Let's see if that pops up a little bit better. I want to see if he's wearing the mitre. Looks like he is, yeah. Stop. I'm just trying to get this thing up, and this thing's back in my way that you guys can't see. And they're giving me a bunch of stuff, and I'm in the way now. Please go away. I'm trying to look at this. The mitre. It looks like it is the mitre he's got on. And you know the mitre is definitely ancient Sumerian, Babylonian. It's the mitre. It's the fish god Dagon, because the hat is a fish mouth, which would go hand in hand with the age of Pisces, them putting it in, going back into Babylon with the Dagon, the fish god, mitre hat. So he's going to open some portals. Interesting, because we know it. Some of us listening here, if you don't know, you ought to know. I got family. I told you on one side of my family, I'm definitely half Mexican, and on that side of the family, Catholicism is heavily there. I never was. On my mom's side, I was more connected to. I've said many times, on that side, I come from apostolic, Pentecostal. Yeah. Very strict Pentecostal church I came in from. So that's even on one of my questions is I've experienced, it's for everything. I've been listening to Ben Wen about Chinese alchemists and Tao and Buddhist and Confucius alchemy, because this goes back 4,000 and 5,000 years. They practice it. East did before West, right? And they're the Eastern version of it and how they are connected to it. And I find it very, coming from a Pentecostal church like I did and not being a Catholic, I came from the Pentecostal church, which if you don't know, then you probably want to know is, anybody that hasn't experienced those Pentecostal church speaking in tongues. Well, Ben Wen was talking about how one of the groups were in esoterica in the past. One of the groups, that's what they would do. They would actually go into meditation and start speaking in tongues, and I was blown away by it because I had never heard that before. That the Buddhists or Taoists were actually going and speaking in tongues, and I was like, wow. So this speaking in tongues is nothing new. With the Pentecostals, just kind of came back again, but it was done 2,000 and 3,000 years ago, even in Taoism in China. So I'm believing it's probably in other things too. When you start learning the esoteric of it, which I'm listening to Ben Wen. Actually, I listened to a video today. I'm going to definitely share. It was about self in the Buddhist Taoist tradition. And then in the Western tradition, this is where you get a little bit of difference. In some, not most, 98%, 99% of it is the same. There's just some few difference, like our alchemy for West is definitely different than the alchemy there. But I just very leery what's up to with the situation, what's going on, the practices, the rituals. What was done here a long time ago was a ritual using a prison place. And then I start thinking, what was that prison place? Because the first thing I thought about, opening keys to bottomless pit. I'm not saying it is, but just a thought I had. So this cat, so he's going to open 5 portals, 5 doors, he says. So Very interesting on opening up five doors, don't you think? On this time, where we're at, we just had the election on November 5th. I did a video on remember the 5th of November from V for Vendetta, the movie. But we went through what really happened on that day, how it was actually a Jesuit order trying to kill the king who, created the Church of England because they separated from the Vatican and Catholicism, because as you know, if you don't know, one of the things in history is the power that was given and taken eventually by the Catholic Church to take over the world and bring this gospel really with their land. We'll give you a Bible, give us your land. It's an even Steven trade. If you're a pagan, was really something that was when you look at it, done, but it didn't happen. And this is what I say to people who will go in a certain way and make this racial and stuff. And I know that there's been bad done to that, but I also know everybody's been a slave throughout history, and some whatever race you've been. I know that, and I can get into that. I don't try to because I'm not into skin color like that. But to conquer the rest of the world, South, North America, you had to conquer Europe first. And it wasn't that easy. It didn't happen, oh yeah, we agree with you. The different kings and queens actually didn't trust Rome, and it didn't happen immediately, like Christmas switch didn't happen immediately. It wasn't like one day Christmas and the solstice is gone. No, the reason we have all these solstice practices is because the people didn't want to give up, because they've been doing that for generations and generations. The same, they didn't trust the Vatican, but eventually they got all the power and conquered Europe, which gave them the power now to go conquer the world. So what portal's being opened up? Just a thought, something to think. And if anybody has any comments or did some more investigation on that, put it in the comments. I'd love to hear them and see them. But you guys have another outstanding day.